Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming over. My name is Manohar, and it's indeed a pleasure to be here giving this talk. My entry into accessibility has been fairly short compared to many experts here, just about 4 or 5 years. And what I want to talk today is to share some broad pictures about what work we do in accessibility at Microsoft Research India. And before I do that, initially, this keynote was supposed to be given by Jenny Lay-Fleury, who is our Chief Accessibility Officer. So Microsoft is the first company in the world to have a CXO level person for accessibility, and many other companies have followed. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it for this event, and so I am the stand-in speaker, but she has sent a small short message, about 6 minutes of video. I'll play it first, and then I'll come back and talk to you.
Hi there, folks. My name is Jenny Lay-Fleury, and I have the honor and privilege of welcoming you to Empower 2022. I'm sitting here in my office in Seattle, Washington, Microsoft's head office. I've got a yellow chair behind me. Behind me is autumn here in Seattle, which is beautiful, full of fall colors and autumnal air. It's also National Disability Employment Awareness Month here in the US, and we celebrate that globally. And we do that because accessibility, disability, is so core to the fabric of what we do here at Microsoft. And as the Chief Accessibility Officer, I have the privilege of working with people in every division of the company and all around the world to help to empower every person, every organization to achieve more. I've had the honor of being in this role for 7 years and seen the progress in not just the inclusion of people with disabilities in our company and hiring great talent with disabilities, but also what the impact is on our products and services as a result. Some of the latest magic in Windows 11, like live captions, were the brainchild of disabled individuals, engineers, program managers, project managers, and more, talking about their deafness, their neurodiversity, their autism, their blindness, low vision, mobility, speech, and more. Because when you include people with disabilities, you quite simply create better stuff. That's why it matters to us. That's why we upped the game a few years ago to not just go after building a more inclusive environment, but making sure that we were helping to bridge the disability divide. The divide between people with disabilities and those not yet in our community that exists in society today. It exists in education. It exists in employment and underemployment. It exists in the access to technology, the availability of technology in their region, city, or country. We believe that accessibility should be available to all, affordable by all. It should be embedded and included in the products that you use every day. And in fact, the joy is that we're on that road. There is so much in the heart of every product, every device in front of me, and I'm sure in front of you. And I encourage you to spend the time to invest in your knowledge and go and hit the Accessibility Center in whatever product you're using in front of you right now to find out all the magic that exists. In Windows, that's everything from focus settings to natural voices for screen reader users for blind and low vision, to beautiful high contrast settings, to audio settings for the deaf, hard of hearing, and live captions. I myself, as a deaf person, I use, a combination of all of that. I have nightlight turned on, I have captioning turned on, I use a sign language interpreter, and I also make sure I use the focus settings when I need to get that email out the door. Accessibility doesn't just empower people with disabilities, it empowers everyone. It's why I'm so excited to do what I do every day. and jump out of bed and think about how we're going to change the world together. So as you walk through Empower 2022, I encourage you to think about what you can do, what your part needs to be, what partnerships you need to create, what collaborations, what ideas, what research futures exist for people with disabilities. And know that that is the direction that Microsoft is taking right now. We're partnering with World Bank to build a new AI-based data demographic dashboard of disability around the world. We're working with 5 other tech companies, small ones like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, to build a new repository of speech that will empower and accelerate the future of speech recognition in technology across all of our platforms, hosted by the University of Illinois. We're working on, well, ALS, brutal disease. MND is called in the UK, which removes the access to so much of your muscles, often leaving you reliant on eye control. And we're working with Answer ALS to power them with data that they need in order to help find a cure for this disease. Every single one of those projects and the many, many more, all done through collaboration and partnership. So think about what you can do. Think about what you can learn and what you can bring to this table, because we need it. If we're going to solve or tackle or even attempt to bridge the disability divide, partnership is how we're going to move forward. And for anyone that has contributed, has been a part of, or driven or used an accessibility feature today, I say thank you. Have a great event. Goodbye from Seattle. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, so that's Jenny. And so I'll give you a brief list of things that happen in Microsoft Research. I'll talk more about the first line, which is computational thinking for children with vision impairments, using what we call the ludic design for accessibility. There's another project that is working with the deaf community to create an app on Android. We also have a large project which is working long-term vision to make print disability disappear, which means anything printed in any language should be available to you in an accessible format. And there is also a talk just before this on the exploration of intersection of gender, technology, and disability. I'll spend more time on the first one. So before that, let's step back. The current approach to accessibility solutions across the world is one of a utilitarian approach. Rightly so, we ask, what is this technology going to do for you? What skill is it going to give me? What am I going to do better? Can I go from A to B? Can I read better? Can I do this better? Everything is about increasing the functionality of a person with disabilities. Extremely important. But in this obsessive focus on the utility, what we have forgotten, in my view, is that people with disabilities are people first. Like all people, play, entertainment, leisure are extremely important. And we have kind of put that aside in our pursuit of utilitarian values. So at Microsoft Research, we understand this. All of us love to play. Every one of us here has a small child who, given a chance, will run out and play. The picture on the left has a kid running with the old tire. On the right, 2 elderly ladies playing hopscotch in the park. Our system, especially in India, has squeezed play out of us as a child as I step into school. And this squeezing play out continues as we go from college, employment, this, career, squeeze. Play is squeezed out. And what we want to do is to bring play back to the center of whatever we do. Play and playfulness at the center of accessibility solutions. That's our mantra. And we call this a nice name. We can't simply say play. They say, what, you're playing around, wasting your time. So we have to give it a name. We said ludic design for accessibility. And this really means, in short, that you take pure play. What is pure play? Every one of us knows what is play. If somebody tells you you're wasting your time, that's really play, right? If it's a useful, do it. Even if it is considered play, it's not play. Take pure play, design an accessible play, which includes everyone, such that in extended and joyful play, whatever skill you originally wanted that person to acquire happens purely as a side effect. You don't tell them you do this to do this, you just play. And magically, after some time of joy and play, that skill gets acquired. This is our vision. And what we have tried to do is to take this approach and look at a very major problem in the country, which is children in schools for the blind, children with vision impairment, have been left out of step for years and years. What we worry is that they will be left out of computational thinking, careers in computing, if we don't something now. And so our goal is to take computational thinking to children in schools for the blind. Many of the children who are blind are not even in schools. That's a much bigger problem. We want to look at children who are in school, starting from grade 1, 2, bring computational thinking to them. That's our moonshot, if you will. We are not starting from scratch. cspathshala.org, ACM India, has done a wonderful job in creating a complete curriculum for grades 1 to 8. And what we want to do is to create an equal and parallel curriculum for people who are non-visual learners, including children who are vision impaired. And the three aspects of computational thinking: digital skills, foundational concepts, and programming concepts. I won't talk about all of them. Just mention briefly. Anil, give me about 5-minute warning. Good. Oh, there it is. So when should I stop? Oh, 18 minutes already? Oh, wow. Yeah, thank you. That's brilliant. Okay, so I have lots of time. So this work is called Project Torino originally. Now it's a product called Code Jumper. Was created in MSR Cambridge. The idea is, in inclusive schools, how can I introduce computational thinking as part of their mainstream curriculum in UK? And this is a fantastic product. It's tangible computing. You put together these pods, and it tells you stories, plays music, etc., etc. So they did this study, proved that this is very effective over 3 months. And what we tried to do 3 years ago was to say, if I bring this over to India, never mind the cost, availability, etc., can I apply ludic design principles and let our children pick up computational thinking skills? And we spent, the picture here shows 2 kids sprawled on a blanket, which is really the furniture in most schools, and one of the facilitators from Vision Empower Trust. We ran this for about 3 months, 100 play sessions, 12 participants across 3 schools. The method is very simple. We give them the kit and let loose. They connect this, press button, this. Lots of chaos happens. We give up saying, oh, are we going to do anything at all? To eventually showing systematically exactly the method that was used in UK schools, that these children also have picked up concepts of computational thinking. What's a loop? What's a program? How to debug? How to put things together in 3 months. And so we believe ludic approach works, and we could indeed transfer or, and they are lots of fun. They will say, when are you playing again? They are not saying, your computing class coming up, I don't want to go. They wanted it every time. But in this process, we found out that, this is another closer picture of kids 2 at a time. So pairs are always good. They will figure one is the controller and they move it around. What we found is, fundamentally, there's a problem because computational thinking depends on strong foundations of numeracy, numbers, arithmetic, thinking about numbers, understanding numbers. And we found that due to many reasons we won't go into, children in such schools lack numeracy foundations. And so we said there's no reason to think of building a skyscraper when the foundations are weak. So let's focus on numeracy. Can we apply the same methodology, ludic design, and get onto numeracy? Again, I won't go into too much detail. We looked at standard curriculum of schools across the world. What is a child supposed to know in grade 1, 2, 3? What are called key learning indicators? Bigger and smaller, comparing numbers, adding 2 numbers, adding 3-digit numbers. You all know, we have gone through all of this. But systematically, we tabulated every KLI, key learning indicator, created a 2D matrix which says grade 1. Usually these KLIs are picked up, grade 2, grade 3. And these learning areas are like what I said: number recognition, measurement, simple arithmetic, systematic counting, and so on and so forth. Then we said, we pick up a game that you like. Make the game accessible to the children. Make up some rules. Play with the children. Iterate till all of you enjoy. The game itself, every game that you have played, lots of games. So the way we started this research, we'll ask, what game did you play when you were 4 years old, 5 years old? Which one did you enjoy most? Okay, take this, take this. Look at the game and say what numeracy skills that this game imparts. And tabulate them using the KLI matrix that I talked to you about. So for every game, we created about 40 games, all playing with children. And I'll give you some examples. This one, in India mostly, when you talk about card games, there is about 30-40% of the population which is gambling. Get away from here. You're getting spoiled. You're getting into the wrong company. Get out of here. No, cards are fantastic. All the way from what is small, what is big, to probability, statistics, life, you can get in cards. Okay, but if you can start really, really simply. But the standard cards are not accessible. The Braille cards that you can buy off Amazon assumes Braille literacy. We're talking about grade 1-2 kids who don't know Braille yet. How to get them into playing cards. Just to say that I'm not preaching. I'm second from the left when I was like 5 years old. Look at the intensity in which my brothers and cousins are playing these cards. We were just into it. As soon as you can walk and hold something, we got a pack of cards. The old ones, of course, not the new ones, right? So I strongly believe this is so much to convey. This is why, okay, let's all play cards. Okay. Now somebody, okay, good. So I won't go through again. There is a talk that talks about how this set of cards was designed, okay? Sometime during the Aishwarya and Sylvia, who are part of the Vision Empower team, they will talk about the design of these cards, but we made a fantastic looking product out of this, and we call it Junior Braille playing cards. Only from numbers 1 to 10, J, K, Q, etc. You can go get the standard Braille because your Braille literacy also grows along with your numeracy, and you don't need these special cards. Just Rummy, okay? Most of you in India will know Rummy, right? Just this one game has all these learning areas covered for you. And evaluation is very simple, right? If I want to know this kid knows arithmetic, etc., play a round of Rummy. If he beats you hollow, you know all of this the kid knows. You don't have to have the stupid multi-choice question and say, do this, do this, do this. Play Rummy. Sorry, I'm going to get beaten up if I go out and say this, but then the pandemic hit. We have all these games, we will go to school, small number of kids, not in scale. Then our partner Vision Empower Trust and their people passionate, we came up with ways in which we can reach kids remotely, starting from getting a caregiver to connect on Zoom, one kid in Pune, one in Bangalore, one in some Kolkata, 5-6 kids playing these games that we have built using local resources. So previous day we will call the parent and say, look, pick up 3 balls, some chickpeas or some other piece, some number, keep them ready for this play session. And when everybody connects, we'll say, okay, you have it. So who is going to run the play? Maybe we'll show you a card game, which was played remotely about a year and a half ago. Volume? We did the test. Can you increase the volume, please? I thought
ಸರಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವೈಷ್ಣವಿಂದನೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಓಕೆ ವೈಷ್ಣವಿ, ನಮಗೂ ಸೇರ್ಸೇಳು.
ಚಿಕ್ಕ ನಂಬರ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸರ್. ನೀವು ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಚಿಕ್ಕ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಡೋಣ. ಮಿಸ್ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಗೇಮ್ ಆಡೋಣ.
ಓಕೆ,
ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
ಚಿಕ್ಕ ನಂಬರ್ ತಾನೆ? ಓಕೆ.
ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಇರೋದು ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಕ್ಲಬ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ 5 ಕ್ಲಬ್ಸ್.
ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಇರೋದು ಕ್ಲಬ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ 10.
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಏನು ನಂಬರ್ ಇದೆ? ಕ್ಲಬ್ 2 ಇದೆ. ಐಶಾ ನಿನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಯಾವ ನಂಬರ್? ಶೇಪ್ ಏನು? 6 ಕ್ಲಬ್. ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ 8 ಸ್ಪೇಡ್ ಇದೆ.
Okay, so this is a simple game where small or big, the kid chooses which game to play. The biggest card wins or smallest card wins. choice is the kids. And then everybody is in a remote place, they are picking their own cards. Cheating, maybe, but they'll figure out eventually cheating is not that much fun, right? And all of us cheat, doesn't matter, part of the game. But you can see that they're really having fun. Nobody's telling them you should play this, you should learn it, nothing. It goes on. Give you one more example. That's
എല്ലാരും എല്ലായിട്ടും ആ വലിയ പാത്രത്തിലേക്ക് അതിട്. റെഡിയാണോ എല്ലാരും? ഓക്കേ, റെഡി? ഓക്കേ. എല്ലാത്തിലും എന്തൊക്കെ ഇട്ടുണ്ട്? കടല, പയറ്, ഏലക്ക. കടല, പയറ്, ഏലക്ക. ഓക്കേ. പയറ്. എല്ലാരും 5 6 വെച്ച് 3 പാത്രത്തിലോട്ട് സെപ്പറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം എല്ലായിട്ടും. അതിനാണ് 5 ആണോ 6 ആണോ? 6. ശരി. ഓക്കേ. ഓക്കേ, 1 2 3 സ്റ്റാർട്ട്. എല്ലാവരും സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ചെയ്യാ. ഫിനിഷ്. ഫിനിഷ്. എല്ലാരും സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ചെയ്യണ്ടേ? സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ചെയ്തോ? ആരാ അതിൽ ചെയ്തത്? മുപ്പതെണ്ണം വേണ്ടേ ഫിനിഷ് ആവണമെങ്കിൽ? നീ അതിന് 6 പറഞ്ഞത്? അതെല്ലാം 3 കൂടി ഇല്ലേ? നീ ഞങ്ങളോട് 6 പറഞ്ഞാക്കട്ടെ. ഇപ്പൊ എന്റെ തുടങ്ങാൻ നോക്കട്ടെ. 19.
Okay, so you can see deep mathematical analysis happening there with no adults in the site, right? They just play and they will learn things and they will make it complicated. They will do interesting stuff. You just let them play. And I think when we can do this online, we believe that when we're just starting to get back into schools, we can do a lot more. But what happened this time is that during the pandemic, as all of us know, people with disabilities were completely cut off from online education. They were just left out. People with resources will get computers, this class, Byju's gets lots of money in the process, but people with disabilities were stuck. And we started thinking about how do we address this going forward to the future. We don't want another pandemic, but I'll talk about what other situations. So this is a project about 3-4 months old, where the picture shows 3 things. One, a feature phone, old-fashioned 2G feature phone. There's another device called Hexis. Raj is probably here. There's a demo booth, which is a simple braille reader, completely made in India. Paul may be also here, who is the inventor of the braille cell. And then on the top is an Android app. And the bottom, there are 4 kids using these feature phones with headphones on. And you will have an exhibit, Roshni and Tarnia somewhere here. They'll show you more details. This is a project jointly with Vision Empower and Microsoft and IIIT Bangalore Center. Okay, the teacher select place. Alternately, the teacher, at some point in the evening, the kid can actually call a toll-free number and get full content, all of this. We want to create the same kind of play that you saw, where kids, all they have is a feature phone, audio, they could play, do the same things, balls in their own place, but they are on the phone. So lots of potential. We call it seeds, scalable educational experiences with digital scaffolding. And we hope in about 3-4 months, we'll have about 200 kids with feature phones, about 20 odd teachers with Android phones, exploring this, playing with it to find out what kind of content works, lots of things. The other point I'll stop after this is the shortage of teachers can be made up if there are many passionate volunteers who want to help these children. But just the commute, Bangalore, yeah, forget it. You cannot go from here to here just to spend 1 hour, you have to spend 3 hours on the road. It's a huge barrier. If I can have facilitators with Android phone, knowing that these children have feature phones, I could engage them in whatever content that you want to. So we see lots of very early stage, and we welcome inputs from all of you. Look at the demo and please keep in touch, because this we see requires huge collaboration. And on that note, I'll go to the next slide. This is our partner Vision Empower, set of hugely committed folks who have been passionately working on this for nearly 5 years. The founder is Vidya, herself vision impaired, and what would have been just a nice idea, ludic design for accessibility, I could have written some papers, really gone on the ground thanks to this team. And as of now, the table here says 22, 23, we are already in 9 states, 60 plus schools, 500 teachers, 800 plus teachers, students directly involved. But by the end of this financial year, we expect to be in 100 schools across 12 states: Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Jharkhand, Gujarat, Delhi, Tripura, Kerala, Uttarakhand. And the SEEDS project that I mentioned, we hope is going to go into the same pipeline, reach all these states, all the students, all the teachers. Essentially, the content, the play will all come from the teachers. It's not that somebody sitting here is creating the content. Every language, every group, every local teacher knows what the content is for their children. We are hoping to get it onto the platform. Last but not the least, Jenny was talking about collaboration. Yesterday, everybody on the dais was talking about it's such a huge problem that we need to collaborate, partner. And it's exactly what we have been doing, and we believe nothing would have happened but for this huge partnership. So there are, if you look at it, in this picture, MSR is some small 3 letters sitting in the corner, as it should be. Because to reach the impact, everybody has a role. There is Wemby Technologies building the thing, Toshe Tech, the RLF, which is the Raceline Foundation. I think some people are there. They did brilliant work in our designs. And DPOs like Saksham, Benetech, Bookshare, there's a stall, XRCVC, I think Neha is around somewhere. State and central governments, philanthropies, Microsoft Philanthropy supported these 4 years of Vision Empower, without which this kind of scale is not possible. And since then, many other companies are funding such efforts to take CT to schools for the children in the blind across the country. And academic partnerships, IIIT Bangalore, Center for Accessibility in the Global South, IIT Delhi, Assistech, which has been our leading light for like 10, 12 years now. And so I'll stop because I think we are in time. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. One last thing, just 2 things. Let's all rediscover the joy of play, and let's all play together. And that's where we need to go.
It has to be some work also, so please ask him a question. Do you have a question for Manohar?
Happy to answer afterwards also, but if you have questions.
I think Kathy has a question. Do you have a question?
Kathy? Vidya, please.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Great work. We do work with children, especially blind children. How do we collaborate on this effort?
Send me mail. And as I said, we have a lot of presence in Chennai. There is a coordinator, Rishi. If she's around, I'll introduce her to you, which is Vision Empower. So she's coordinating with Tamil Nadu government is extremely good, as you know, in terms of getting CT to schools across the board. There are 1,000 teachers who are vision impaired, and we are working with them to train the teachers on digital skills. So anytime, we will be happy to collaborate.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Actually,
Thank you.
we had we were trying to develop a small app for the Little Flower School for the blind. It's called Vision Companion.
Okay,
Very similar to, I mean, not similar, but in a very small scale.
sure.
Something that will help the children to learn.
No, absolutely. As I said, every group, there are lots of groups working on very, very fascinating stuff. But to reach scale, like everyone is talking about yesterday and what Kathy was talking about, ideas are great, the ecosystem and how it's going to go to scale is the most important problem we have to solve. And I'm hoping again, Kathy will take this to GDI and beyond, because every country in the global south has the same problems as what we have in India in terms of people with disabilities, children with disabilities. But thank you very much.
Thank you.